Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Leave jobs that affect your mental health. And I mean in a bad way. Let me be clear about that. If that job you feel good, makes you feel good, you doing your thing, okay, that's great. But if it's a job that you being stressed out over, you might have to indulge in certain goods to make you feel good, either legal or contraband goods, or you going home real stressed and everything, you need to leave that job. Seriously. Because look, I'm gonna tell you something now. As someone who's worked on multiple jobs, there's always multiple bullshit. Seriously, there is always multiple bullshit, office politics, yeah, it's supposed to be a situation. You just go on the job, you do your work and you go home. It don't work that way. You interacting with people, even though you shouldn't deal with somebody on the job relationship wise, there's gonna be some sexual tension. Somebody ain't gonna like somebody for whatever reason. It could just be some personal stuff. It could be different religion. It could be a racial issue. There's always something. There's always something, and I don't care what degree they have, whatever. There's always something. You can't really stay on that job. It's very important because that's affecting your health. Now, yeah, you on that job because you need the money. And indeed, that's why sometimes you'll get some managers or something or people, they'll act funky. You get some people, they don't want to be there at all, so they're going to act funky. You get some managers, that's their only little bit of power. So they're going to act funky, Seriously, I've seen it. Even I've seen so much. And you just sit back and you're like, why? Why? Or people come in, somebody having some trouble with their subordinates just because they had something at home. So they take it out on their subordinates. It's always something. But you got to ask yourself, is this worth it? Look, here's the thing. You don't want to be at a point in life where you have to stay on a particular job. You want to have the training so that you can change jobs. Like some jobs are still going to be better than others as far as the people. Like I've been on some jobs, like one of my best jobs was actually a retail job for all my education, working in the government and all of that. The best atmosphere was a couple years on this one retail job. Because there were politics, but it didn't affect our immediate crew. And it was like a family atmosphere. It was fun. To the point, there were some times on there, I had to be forced to take vacation. It was like, I don't mind working. It was fun. But then it changes up. Now, if you can get that type, that's the best type. And ultimately, you gotta pay attention, little stuff. You could be somebody on a job and somebody's interested in you, whether you're male or female. And just because you don't reciprocate, they can try to make a mountain out of a molehill. Seriously, many people have been falsely accused on jobs. It's always an issue. But that affects your mental health. Indeed, that's why I'm big on having your own business. Even if you're a solopreneur. Because even with that, the thing with that is the most you have to deal with are customers. And you can deal with whatever customer that you want to deal with. You can deal with them. You can set that up, And even then, most of the time, you'll still deal with them. Most of the time, you'll still deal with some little stuff. It's not the same as working on the job with someone. You can limit your interactions with the customer if they're going to be problematic. You can just say, look, I'll just do the work, get it done. But, if you want a job or something, you got to see some potential enemy every day or doing some stuff you don't like, got a micromanaging manager or something like that. It was like, this ain't worth it. This ain't worth it. So what do you do to stay out of it? Well, my ultimate solution is get your own business or something. But let's be real, even when you have your business, you still need to work. One of the things I would say is have the attitude that you can always get another job. let's see, in having 1,000 jobs, one of the things I always did was I would look at it like this could be my last day. And really, that was more pragmatic because I had been on jobs, including in the government, that like working for a government contractor. Yeah, them too. Where the contract could like go out that day and you be like, oh, we don't need you. Or like reduction in force, as they'll call it, layoffs. I've seen it all. I've seen it all, experienced it a few times. You know, so I always treated every day like it was something else. Like it could be the last day. But at the same time, one of the reasons I had 1,000 jobs was I always cultivated skills in someplace else. So when I was working in the government, I also had that job working at a gym. And then I also had my business. I always had something to fall back on no matter what. And you might need to, because sometimes you might need to just walk out. Like always have that. Don't seriously, don't be in a position where this is the only place you can work. You want to work on having the skills to move around. Or sometimes you might have to just look at them and say, you know what, I ain't putting up with this bullshit no more. Bye. But you want to be in that position to do so. That's the thing. That's the thing. Because the main thing is you don't want to be too stressed out. You don't want to be in a position where you have a heart attack. Because I never forget what I saw like a few decades ago saying the most prominent time for someone to have a heart attack was 9 a.m. on Monday morning, which means they're going into work. Now, whether that's true or apocryphal, not sure, but it is stressful. How often do we have a great weekend, but we can't wait for Friday. If you on a job, if you can't wait for Friday, and then you dread going back on Monday, you need to start looking for something else. Anytime you get to that point, that's not a good thing. That's stressful. If you ever thinking like that, if you ever thinking you want to be like I was, like I said on that retail job, I had to use it or lose a vacation. I didn't want to take the vacation because I was having so much fun. I was like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. You want to be at that point, okay? Because at the time it wasn't causing any stress. But when it starts causing stress, you need to have an exit. You need to know what to do. And even if it's a job that you really love, you need to think, well, do I have to do it for this particular company? And even then, well, you got to really look at the situation. And if you're in a position of management, really try to create a certain atmosphere. Really create a certain atmosphere, So anyway, that's all I have for now. Y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.